December 10th, 2008, New York City. The 17th floor of the Lipstick Building is quiet. Outside, the financial world is burning. The Great Recession is tearing Wall Street apart. But inside this office, the silence is heavier. A man sits alone in a corner office. He is 70 years old. He is the former chairman of the Nasdaq. He is a legend, and in less than 24 hours, he will become the most hated man in human history. His name is Bernie Madoff, and he is holding a secret that weighs exactly $64 billion. Most criminals use guns. Some use armies. Madoff used something far more dangerous: trust. He didn't steal from the poor. He stole from the elite. Steven Spielberg, Kevin Bacon, major banks, Jewish charities. For decades, he was the unbreakable bank, the one sure thing in a volatile market. If you got into Madoff's fund, you didn't ask questions, you just cashed the checks. But it was all a mirage. A paper castle built on a foundation of lies, printed on a dot matrix printer in a basement that nobody was allowed to visit. This isn't just a story about theft. It is a story about the psychology of greed. It is a story about how one man hypnotized the entire world, while the regulators watched and did nothing. Welcome to the architecture of the greatest lie ever told. This is the story of the $64 billion monster. Bernard Lawrence Madoff wasn't born a monster. He was born in Queens, 1938, the son of a struggling plumber. He didn't come from money. He came from the struggle. In 1960, he started his firm with $5,000 he saved from installing sprinklers and working as a lifeguard. He was an outsider. And on Wall Street, outsiders usually get eaten. But Bernie had a weapon the old aristocrats didn't understand: technology. Before Madoff, trading was done by guys shouting on a floor. Madoff pushed for electronic trading. He helped build the Nasdaq. He brought speed to the market. By the 1980s, his legitimate business, market making, was a powerhouse. He was rich. He was respected. But for Bernie, rich was never enough. He needed to be a hero. He started a side business, an investment advisory arm. He didn't advertise it. In fact, he turned people away. This was his masterstroke. He weaponized exclusivity. If you wanted to invest with Madoff, you had to know someone. It was a club, and everyone wanted in. The returns weren't impossible. That was the trick. He promised 10 to 12% every year, like clockwork. When the market went up, Bernie went up. When the market crashed, Bernie went up. It was consistent, it was smooth, it was impossible. How did he do it? That's what the banks asked. That's what the competitors asked. Bernie called it the split strike conversion strategy. He claimed he was buying blue chip stocks and protecting them with options. It sounded sophisticated. It sounded safe. But on the 17th floor of the Lipstick Building, the reality was much simpler. There were no stocks. There were no options. There was no trading. It was a pure Ponzi scheme. When investor A gave Bernie $1 million, Bernie put it in a Chase bank account. When investor B wanted to cash out, Bernie just took the money from investor A and paid him. The millions of trade confirmations sent to clients, they were fake, printed on old paper to look authentic, while the legitimate traders worked on the 19th floor, making millions. A small team of uneducated employees sat on the 17th floor, fabricating billions out of thin air. There were warnings. Harry Markopoulos's a mathematical genius, looked at Madoff's numbers in 1999. It took him 5 minutes to realize it was a fraud. He told the SEC. He told the newspapers. He said, the world's largest hedge fund is a fraud. The SEC investigated Madoff multiple times, and every time, Madoff charmed them. He intimidated them. He showed them fake documents, and they walked away. Why? Because nobody wanted to believe the party was over. Everyone was making money, the banks, the feeder funds, the charities. Greed is a powerful blender. A Ponzi scheme is like a shark. It has to keep moving. It needs fresh money to pay off the old investors. As long as the economy was good, the money flowed in. But in 2008, the world stopped. Lehman Brothers collapsed. The market tanked. Panic swept the globe. Suddenly, Madoff's investors needed cash. Not profits, cash. They wanted their principal back. In December 2008, clients requested $7 billion in redemptions. Bernie looked at the Chase Bank account. It had less than $300 million. The math finally caught up with the man. December 10th, the office Christmas party was scheduled for that night. Instead, Bernie called his 2 sons, Mark and Andrew, into his office. He sat them down. He began to cry. His sons didn't hug him. They didn't help him hide the money. They walked straight to a lawyer and then to the FBI. The next morning, the FBI knocked on the door of his penthouse. Bernie opened it in his bathrobe. He simply said, "I know why you're here." The damage was nuclear. Thousands of people lost their life savings. Retirees went back to work. Charities closed. But the tragedy didn't end with money. His son Mark, unable to bear the shame and the lawsuits, took his own life 2 years later, to the day of his father's arrest. Bernie Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in prison. He died there in 2021. Alone. We look at Madoff and we see a monster. But Madoff didn't create the greed. He just reflected it back at us. He proved that if a lie is big enough and profitable enough, people will believe anything. In the world of finance, trust is the currency. And Madoff proved that trust is the most expensive asset of all.